Investing Insights with Right Property Group, exploring trends in real estate and helping property investors gain financial security.
Oh, g'day, how you going? It's Phil Tarrant. Welcome to Property Investing Insights. I'm your host or co-host, Phil Tarrant. Not part of the Right Property crew, but I've been working with them for, unfortunately, nearing a decade. It's quite alarming when I think about that. And has it been a good journey with them? It sure has. It's been very different. I've enjoyed the myriad of different professionals I work with at Right Property Group. And one of them is actually in the studio today. She doesn't work there anymore, but that's a catalyst for the discussion that we're going to have. But I have my regular co-hosts, the brains out of this outfit, Victor Kumar. How you going?
I'm glad you said that when Reshmi wasn't around.
I know. You said I've been waiting.
Yeah, I know.
So the first time I could say it, because typically she's here, she's a lot more erudite and capable than what we are.
That's right.
How you been? Good?
Pretty good. Yeah. Mad Christmas rush, obviously. And it's been an interesting year. Certainly from a property market point of view, economist outlooks and whatnot. But we're here at the end of the year. And what I really wanted to do was bring everything together in terms of the Design Your Decade that we've been working on the whole year.
This is right. So this time last year, we sat down and we incubated this idea of Design Your Decade, and we sort of telegraphed what 2025 was going to look like for the Property Investing Insights podcast. And we sort of just had a discussion around how to plan.
Yep.
Into the new year, how you and Reshmi go about doing it. You've got your own sort of cadence of planning and the discipline around reviewing those plans and debriefing. And I know you use the New Year's period to do that, and you have a very good planning blueprint. Are you going to make that available again?
Yes, we will. Yep. It'll be on our website. So jump on our website. You'll find it.
Go and track this down. It's pretty good. So if you don't yet have your own mechanism for shaping your planning or decision making, they've got a really good blueprint that'll sort of step you through the various phases of it and maybe just spark some of the conversations that you may need to be having if you're investing alone or you're investing in partnership. And most Australians do invest in partnership. That partnership traditionally is within a family unit. So some really thought-provoking conceptual discussions that you can take place to craft your planning for the year ahead. But in December of 2024, we spoke about this Design Your Decade, the concept of Design Your Decade, and you can start thinking about property investment in the series of decades. And the key point to it is that the more decades you have to invest in property, typically the outcome will be very, very different. So start as early as you can, Victor. But we want to sort of close the loop on all of this today. We've looked at a lot of the philosophical and mindset orientations of effective property investing over the course of 2025. And then we looked at a lot of the pragmatic aspect of building a portfolio, debt diversification, defense, etc. But now we've actually got a real life case study on how you can actually go about investing in property for the outcome that most Australians aspire to, and that is giving them optionality at a point in time when they choose not to work. So a lot of people call that retirement. Everyone has different versions or variations of retirement. And Melissa Matheson certainly has her version of retirement. I've worked with Melissa over many years back in the heydays of when we were aggressively buying property for smart property investment through the crew over at Right Property Group, and she had the privilege of working with me, and that's what accelerated her retirement plans. I would imagine
all the trauma.
Melissa, how you going? Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Wasn't
Phil.
that bad? Was it sort of working with me? I know I used to get chased a lot by you. So
well, between yourself and Victor, you're
just as bad as each other.
Absolutely.
So you don't work at Right Property Group anymore. You left on your own terms.
I did.
Okay.
Victor has said that when you get bored, please come back.
Okay.
I'll leave the door open. But I'm not bored yet. It's
So
only been 8 weeks.
You've only been. So are you officially, inverted commas, retired?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Until such time that I want to go back to a more formal role.
Yeah.
But no, I don't need to work.
Okay. Is that nice to say that I don't need to work?
It's great.
Yeah.
It's so good. And it takes a lot of the pressure off just knowing you can sleep in and not have to worry about pulling into the office by 9:30.
Yeah, to get stuff done and all the things waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
So married, kids, all the usual trappings?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So typical. We'll be celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary next year. So my lovely husband Andrew and I have been, working on our portfolio for many, many years, and it started well before kids, so just after we were married.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 beautiful children. Hamish is 22 and Georgia is 20.
Okay.
And they've seen the joys of property investing. They would like to say that they are unpaid workers.
Okay.
They've done their fair share of renovating.
Good.
And I think that's really set them up as well for knowing what it's like to put the hard work in and the sacrifices that we've made to get where we are.
So I'll be creative in how I ask this question. You don't strike me as being very old.
I'm not.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Phil.
But there's this visional version of retirement now that the government says, what is it, 65, 67,
Yeah,
right?
67, yeah.
And you go, like 67-year-olds aren't old now, but, comparatively, but you're nowhere near that.
Correct.
Is your peer group still working?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
And most of them will be working until they're between 60 and 65, some even 67.
Okay.
Simply because they haven't done the foundational work to get to where we are today. And they've been enjoying life, and it's all through choices.
Yeah, and, you get to make your choices being an adult, how things want to sort of pan out. Are they sort of – I imagine you sort of explain to them over the course of many years that what you're doing, and they probably went, oh, really? That sounds really risky, or that sounds really, all these different sort of versions or variations of that. What do they think now? Are they like, you bugger,
Most of them are pretty good, actually. They're like, well done, you deserve it. We've seen what you've done. And some are also in awe that we've got all of these properties and a lot of debt and gone through the challenges of property ownership. It's been a mixed bag, actually, but most of them are really, really thrilled.
So it can be done?
It can be done.
Takes time.
It does take time. It's not overnight, and anyone that thinks for a second that property is a get-rich-quick scheme, it's absolutely not.
So did you actually design your decades to get to the point where you are now? Was it a structural or structured methodical process, or did you meander a bit? Like, I'm a meanderer. I'll get there in the end, I would imagine, but I'm not. I'm probably a bit of an anomaly in how most buyer's agents would tell people and express them to invest. I certainly do it as a 4th or 5th priority in my life, whereas a lot of people are a lot more focused and organised. How'd you go about it?
Well, one thing that you just said, Phil, you might meander, but you actually took action. And that's what we did. We were meandering. We were thinking, should we, shouldn't we? And, of course, growing up, because I'm 54, so there you go. Wow. You know my age. So does everyone that will be listening.
It's funny. It's a one place in life where you can actually talk about money and what people earn, and you can ask a lady what her age is.
Absolutely.
And I'm really open about what my age is.
Yeah.
I've never been one to go, oh, I'm so embarrassed. But
You're very young.
I am young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel young. So I can't even remember what I was going to say now, because I'm like,
meandering.
I'm only, meandering. So growing up where our parents were quite conservative. You get married, you buy a house, you pay it off, debt is bad. So we thought about it for a long time, we should be investing. And in the meantime, we were being very careful with our money. We'd go around Woolies with a calculator, with our grocery wallet. So we were really careful, knowing that we wanted to pay our house off. So fast forward 10 years of marriage, and we got to the stage where we had paid our house off, and our bank manager said, that's fantastic, but your money's not working for you 24/7. So then it was all in, and we made the decision we're going to do it, our parents were, it's not a good idea, it's risky, blah, blah, blah. But we did it, and then we purchased a lot of properties very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So it was methodical in a way, but it was also a little bit slapdash at the beginning.
And it's okay to be a bit slapdash at the beginning, and how what do they say? 90% of winning is beginning, right? How you begin isn't necessarily how you end, and as you buy more property and have more experience, you get more conditioned to create strategic guidance and strategy and all those relevant approaches, which has been the basis of our discussions over 2025 on this special series on Design Your Decade. So let's start at the end, and then we can go back to the beginning. So tell me about the portfolio you have today that allows you to be. Are you retired and your husband isn't retired, or is this?
Yeah, no,
he's smart. He wants to stay away from home. Like Melissa.
Yeah, no, he's still working.
He's still working.
He quite enjoys work.
Fair enough.
He'll probably work for another maybe 2 to 3 years. He's just turned 56.
Okay. So he's still. So you're retired. Sorry, you're inverted commas, right? You don't need to work anymore.
Yeah.
He still wants to work, so I imagine he probably doesn't need to work anymore. So tell us about the portfolio you have today.
Okay, so portfolio today, we've got our own home, and then we've got, I think it's 10.
Okay.
10 properties.
10
maybe
properties
it's 11.
11 properties in the portfolio.
Yeah.
So what's the value of the properties in that portfolio?
Including our own home.
Yeah.
Just under 10.
Okay. So $10 million in value, and debt?
Around 3.
Okay. $3 million in debt. And is there any of that offset? So you got debt against it, and it's largely offset, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is.
All right. So essentially it's all, other than your principal place residence, it's all cash flow producing.
Mm-hmm.
So
it is.
that provides you an income.
Yes.
Very simple.
Very simple.
Yeah.
People tend to complicate it.
Yeah.
So the money that your portfolio provides means that you don't have to work anymore because you're getting an income from somewhere else.
Correct.
Yeah. It's not difficult.
It's not difficult.
No.
But to get there, it's had its moments.
Yeah, okay.
And, to get to that position of having so much equity as well as the money in the offset account, we have been strategically selling down the portfolio over the past few years.
So what, at its peak in terms of size, number of properties and value of the portfolio, where did it peak out at?
Well, we've sold about $4 million worth.
Okay. Sold off $4 million. Great. And you've just used that money to pay down the debt on the other ones.
Yeah. Okay. And to, have some nice holidays and that sort of thing.
How important is the utility of the money that you're generating now? How important is the fact that you can do that when you think back to the relationship you have with your portfolio prior to that? Were you happy to grind and graft with this delayed gratification of what you can do with that dough in the future? Like, how much was that a guiding force for you?
The delayed gratification was a big thing. So, and I think that's where a lot of people go wrong because they want to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
But realistically, you can
Very
only borrow.
difficult to do both.
It is. You can only borrow so much money from the bank, especially with the recent changes. And you can't be having Uber Eats going on nice holidays as well as having just drinking Verve champagne every night of the week and expect to create wealth at the same time because
particularly during the accumulation phase, there needs to be more focus on accumulating. So there needs to be rationalization of expenses because if it just prolongs your journey, makes it longer if you're not allowing the money to siphon through to investments as opposed to purely funding lifestyle. And this is where you and I are on a little bit of a different tangent.
Absolutely.
Where I'm saying that lifestyle in the forefront and investing in the background, whereas your journey was more investing first and then lifestyle later.
Yeah. And all of the people that I would talk to, potential clients of RPG and existing clients of RPG, one of the things that was really clear was there was a big group that would come in and say, I'd like to start an investment property portfolio without compromising my current lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that's the biggie. There does need to be some compromises.
There's often a big disconnect between
Huge.
the ambition and the reality, right?
And there's so many people out there that are spending more than what they earn. And then they wonder why the cost of living is getting them and why they can't create a bit of a savings pot.
Yeah, it's tough. So did you have help on the way?
Yes, we did. We've had lots of help.
So tell us about the help. So you worked with Right Property Group for 4 to 5 years or so?
Yes, and then previous to that, I was a client
You're
for
an
about
actual client, were
yeah.
you?
So I was a client for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And I came via Right Property Group at it was an Aussie home loans seminar, and there was a panel of 3 buyers agents, and one of them was our beloved Steve Waters, and he really impressed me.
Well, you went, no, that guy sounds all right.
Yeah. I was really impressed by what he said.
Yeah.
And at that point in our portfolio, we had, 18, 19 properties, and I was feeling quite overwhelmed with what to do next.
Was it a good portfolio?
Yeah.
That you created, and you created that by yourself alongside?
No, we didn't. We were using another well-known buyer's agent at the time.
Yes.
Who I do thank often. He's a good guy. But I just needed to take it to that next step because it was so big, and I just felt as though I wanted someone that had a bit more of life's experience. And Steve and, of course, Victor had those runs on the ground.
So they pulled it apart for you and interrogated it?
They did. I thought we were meeting Steve to go through the portfolio and to buy our next property.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. He said, steady on.
Yeah.
You guys are in a great position, but you need to do a fair bit of homework before I'm confident that you can actually pull the pin on your next property. So it was probably 18 months of work and meetings with him and meetings with our new broker to refinance. We did a whole lot of work. We had to sell some land, sell a property. So all the restructuring, it was an absolute nightmare and a headache, but it got us to a really good position.
So was the issue that the rents were out of kilter, or the debt wasn't appropriate, or you're paying too much, or all
it was just all of it. It was just all the shit. Like, it wasn't a shambles. There was just
things.
And because we'd built the portfolio so quickly, there was at one stage I purchased 4 properties in 1 month.
Yeah, okay.
And then there was 3 properties that we'd purchased within 3 months, and they were all negative cash flow by a lot. So it was just about managing the hows and whats. And
So how did you fund the portfolio while it was negatively geared through
savings?
Through savings.
And that's another thing that people, they don't build up their buffers. So, and I'm really big on making sure that you've got a good buffer for just in case.
Yeah.
Because if we hadn't have built that buffer and had, a few $100,000 in our pockets, there's no way we would have been able to sustain the negative cash flow.
Yeah. And this is the point, there's this, there's big myths out there around large property portfolios that they generate heaps of income. For a long period of time, they're quite hungry in relation to cash flow, and unless you've got a way to generate the shortfall and or significantly compromise other aspects of your life, you end up in a position where you've got to start selling it down. And that's not a normal size portfolio, I would say, like 20-odd properties.
No, it's not. It's not normal. But also, if you bring it to today's day and age where the holding cost per property is quite significant, right, and there's quite a bit of negative cash flow, and looking at what Melissa's done in terms of funding the shortfall from a savings, you could do the same by funding it through the released equity that you've got. So it actually allows you into the market, allows you to ride the cycles. Because one of the biggest hurdles people face these days is that I can't afford the negative cash flow per week, and therefore I'm going to compromise on the quality or where I'm buying. And so to be able to buy the right types of properties where they're foundational in nature so you can build up from them, you really need to find a way to hold on. So whether it is looking at all your expenses and saying, how much can I free up? So, your subscriptions, you're turning your loans into interest only. So create the cash flow from within your normal expenditure.
Yeah.
And then when that's at its finest, then you can tap into the equity to hold on to your property, because generally
Would
the
you
growth
recommend
is
that
higher.
though? Would you recommend like taking on upping your debt in order to turn equity into cash and using that to
hold on to the
complement
portfolio?
negative cash flow? Like
It needs to be treated with extreme caution, because you need to buy properties where the projection for growth is much higher than the money you're eroding away from the equity, right?
it's a mathematical
It's a mathematical calculation.
Yeah.
And you want to have a myriad of different cash injections. So savings and equity is just one part of it. So you can't just totally 100% rely on just the equity, because if the economy changes, naturally it will impact most of the properties that you own, including the one that you're raising the equity from. So it can go against you as well. So it needs to be treated with caution, and there needs to be a regular review of how the portfolio's playing out, rather than just simply buying and buying and buying. And when Melissa, when you were buying, it was easier to buy multiple properties.
It was, because the lending landscape was a lot different
in the good old days.
in the good old days. But I do remember Steve saying to us, and he and Victor always say it, is have the money before you need it.
Yeah.
So we did a big equity release back in 2015, I think, across 4 loans, and we released $500,000, and we had it sitting there for about 5 years until we used it.
Until really
But we
deployed.
knew that it was there. And it's also important to have bank's money and your money and have it separate, or else it gets too muddy. But having the money before you need it. So we knew that equity was there if we needed to do repairs, etc., or if we wanted to buy another property. And that's what we ended up doing. We bought another property.
That was your buffer. The sort of
one of the
refinance
buffers.
components.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did you frame the size and scale of your buffer? Did you have it as a pegged against the value, or pegged against X number of months of rent that you would need to cover should properties become vacant? What was a really good sort of mantra for you in that regards?
So Andrew's he's quite funny when it comes to money. He has a big fear of debt, and he doesn't like spending money. I'm the spender.
Okay.
So he's quite conservative with money.
You typically find that in all relationships, right?
Which is probably why I look after all the finances.
Yeah, okay.
He just signs the documents. And
so are you the property investor in the family, and he's just a willing and active participant?
Yes.
Okay.
He's a willing and active participant that holds most of the properties in his name, and then I do all the finance.
And you enjoy doing all the admin around it?
I love it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think
You're mad.
I don't think, well, I have been, I'm a bit slack sometimes.
Yeah, it can get like that. No, I get it. Like, it's nice when you actually get in tune and connect and go, I've got all this sorted out now.
Yeah.
And it's only sorted out for a day before something happens. But
I think a lot of my property managers go, oh my God, I wish she'd just answer my emails, or it's her again.
Yeah.
She's asking these requests. But we worked out that we needed at least 6 to 12 months worth of our income, as well as all of the rental income covered.
okay.
And then, of course, we've got all the insurances. So we've got life insurances, income protection, and then all the property insurance. So having all of those bases covered are really important.
Yeah. And what have you seen, Victor, when I know you worked closely with Melissa, but what do you think has been the defining factors which has made Melissa and your husband, I've just forgotten his name? Andrew, effective?
It is having a goal, and it is having the ability to take direction. So what happens is often, especially when Melissa came on as a colleague at RPG, you see all these deals flying left, right, and center, and it takes real restraint to not jump in and buy yourself, because then you can really derail your portfolio. And there are many times when Melissa would come to me and say, "Oh, I'm ready to buy. I've got cash ready," and I say, "Yeah, okay," and I'd string along so that the urge to buy would go away, and then normalcy would settle. So there's that. But the important bit is that she was not afraid to buy properties, right? So it was not overanalyzing. She believed in the end outcome and didn't want immediate social validation to say, hey, I've bought well. Realizing that this journey takes time is by far the most important attribute a property investor can have.
A lot of investors find that an uncomfortable truth that this thing doesn't happen overnight, and they consume and absorb information these days, which would assume that you can get wealthy in property overnight, and that doesn't take place. So,
look, every investor will brag about the property that went up 20% in a year. They won't talk about the one where they had to wait 3 years to get their 20%.
Yeah, and it happens, right?
Yeah, it happens.
You must have seen hundreds of properties like.
Yeah, and in our own portfolio, we've had a couple of crackers, and they didn't grow too much, but they had their position in their portfolio where they were the positive cash flow ones from the get-go. So we didn't buy them for the growth. We bought them for the cash flow to balance off the negative cash flow of the others. So you do need to be strategic, and you also need to be careful about what advice you're listening to.
Yeah.
Victor he really knows his stuff, and he's walked the walk. He's done his homework. He knows, I call him the walking property encyclopedia. What he knows about property and everything else blows my mind.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of newcomers out there that I just get that funny sick feeling.
Well, again, time is such an enabler if you're in the business of providing property investment advice. Yeah, because you've seen multiple cycles. You've probably seen tens of thousands of properties, and it all stacks up. This comes back to the point, though, around investment strategy, what you've done compared to others. And no doubt you did a lot of the heavy lifting prior to meeting the crew over at Right Property Group. It sounds like they've helped you finesse your property.
Yes.
So what would you say, your investment strategy compared to others? Why was it effective?
I think it's been effective because we were quite conservative, and we had a good foundation to start. So we had all the ducks lined up. We had good savings. We had good equity in our house, and we had a really good team around us. So, and working with a team makes such a difference. And so, the mortgage broker, the property strategist, and recently we've engaged a really good financial planner who has brought everything together, and having a really good accountant that understands property. So there's no point in going to a standard accountant that doesn't own property themselves. They don't understand property because they're not going to get the best out of your portfolio and give you the right advice.
Yeah, and the right advice is key across all those different aspects of the professionals that you can leverage. It's, you've seen a lot of portfolios, Victor. What have you seen? You've worked hard to finesse Melissa's portfolio, but how would you define her investment strategy versus, which has been successful, obviously, versus those which are probably less successful?
Look, the key was that she wasn't chasing the shiny property, right? It was what properties
less
work,
than shiny,
and not afraid to invest in properties that needed work, because that was a way of adding value straight away and adjusting to the market, right? So, buying units, buying houses, buying land, even vacant land back then, was all strategic in what was possible at the time. And I think the biggest attribute that I could see was that the understanding of finance and taking a patient approach when you're not qualifying for finance, so that it's really sitting at a point where if you can't qualify for finance, you're not buying. If you're buying, you're ready with finance and have plan B and plan C ready as well at that acquisition phase.
So finance was key?
Definitely key. We've done a lot of work over the years in refinancing, looking at our loans, readjusting loans, going to different lenders, because a lot of people still think that, I've been banking with such and such bank for the past 20 years. I need to stay loyal.
Yeah, they give me great deals.
Yeah. Banks don't reward loyalty, people.
No, they don't.
How many times have you refinanced?
I
in this
can't.
journey?
I can't even tell you, a lot. And we've been with every type of lender, which I was always a bit, I've never heard of them, but they'll give us money. So
dollar is a dollar as long as the conditions
Exactly.
and the terms in which you're borrowing it from. And there is a loyalty levy, you know. You stick around with a lender and, you know, it gets harder and harder to get sharper rates and, you know, you just become stickier and more wed to them or embedded with them, particularly when you get to a point where, you know, you might not be generating the money that you used to be generating or your portfolio might be sort of complicated. Has that been tough, the whole borrowing side of things? Because it can be fatiguing and I guess to a point where a lot of malaise sets in because you just go, I just don't want to, like refinancing, you know, and you've got to give information for 20 properties. That's a headache.
Oh, like you wouldn't believe. And it's been at the stage a couple of times where is this all worth it? Because I literally need to give them the brand of my kitchen sink.
Yeah.
But it has been worth it. But yes.
So you've got to do the work.
You've got to do the work.
Yeah.
And you need to grit your teeth and just know that the outcome is going to get you to where you want to get to.
So what's been your biggest hurdle, do you think, through this journey?
Biggest hurdle? Possibly a bit of fear in the beginning, but also just like I can remember it was a few years ago, we had a property that we had for sale. We decided to sell it because it was just, in my head, it was just being a pain in the neck. It was a 1-bedroom unit up in far north Queensland, and the one tip is if you're going to sell a property, don't list it with the same agent that you bought it through. That was my lesson learned for this particular.
Why is that?
Because we put the 1-bedroom unit up for sale, and there was an issue with what was on the title because we had 2 units in the complex and the contract had the wrong number. So the actual...
So it was sold badly to you? Or,
no, that was correct.
Yeah.
But there was just a typo on the contract and it went through all of the I's, including the lawyer's I's.
Yeah.
And no one picked up on it. So
Sold the wrong property.
the purchaser got our 2-bedroom unit for the price of the 1-bedroom unit. We went to...
Oh, really?
Yeah, we engaged a barrister and everything, and it cost a lot of money and we still didn't win. And at the same time...
So they got a 2-bedroom unit instead of a 1-bedroom unit?
Yes.
But they must have known they were buying this one here, though. That was a 1-bedroom.
Yeah, they did.
And did they go, we didn't know, sorry. They didn't rescind.
No, they didn't.
So they thought, hey, I've got this.
Yep. So it was horrible, and it was at the same time.
That's not cool.
Not cool at all.
As I had both of my parents weren't very well. I had both of them in different hospitals, on and off, for 3 months, and we were trying to organise respite care for them because we were going on our American holiday.
Yeah.
And this was all happening in the background, and I was literally having a nervous breakdown. I was also working full time. So that was just...
That's mad. I just want to talk about this a little bit longer. So there must have been affidavits signed by the other people. Did they say, yes, we knew we were buying a 2-bedroom unit? So they're just blatantly lying. They would have been blatantly lying.
Pretty much.
He realised that what the mistake was and decided...
Just exploited it.
Yep, absolutely. And then there's been the house that we had a DV case, poor woman and her 4 children left in the middle of the night. She left with all of her possessions still in the house, so insurance didn't cover that. It was a $4,000 exercise because it wasn't seen as malicious. And so I had to pay for that. We had all of the painting, flooring, curtains all done, and the painter left his tins of paint in the house, and it was April school holidays, and some kids got in and threw paint all over the walls, the carpet, set the toilet on fire. So, and that was while I was on a cruise in Hawaii that I got the phone call from the policewoman.
And insurance would have covered that, though.
Yeah, they did, but it just meant a delay to getting tenants in.
Yeah. And when you have a large portfolio
This stuff
and when you've got enough time in the portfolio, you come up with these stories because often the properties were in emerging areas, and especially during school holidays, idle minds.
Oh, yeah.
Emerging areas. Is that
emerging
Emerging
areas.
areas.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 7 Hills.
Yeah. A lot of emerging
So there's
areas out there.
been a few challenges along the way, but
It's a cost of doing business, right? Yes, it
Exactly.
can be fatiguing and stressful and nuisance and all that sort of stuff. And, that's what you subscribe into as a property investor, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
And,
that's,
despite your
that's-
best mitigation, stuff's going to happen to you.
Absolutely, and that's how the portfolio was set up for you, because that was the goal, and you were not afraid to get your hands dirty, right? For someone
No.
that's got no time at all, the portfolio would look different, right?
Yeah.
So it may be more of a set and forget. Let's not touch it for a couple of years, come back and see what it's done.
That's okay.
Which is okay, right? So what I'm trying to highlight over here is that for different investors, it is different journeys. Outcome may be the same in the end, but how you get there is totally different depending on the financial circumstances, the equity you've got, the ability to hold on to the portfolio in terms of negative cash flow, and more importantly, mindset and your can-do attitude.
Yeah, and the mindset is absolutely critical. It sounds as though you're been a sort of emotive catalyst for driving this forward, and fortunately you've got a strong partnership to be able to make that happen. Was there ever a point in time where you went, I'm done with this, stuff it, I went out?
no, never.
I sometimes feel like that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you've got 1,000 emails unanswered and there's requests for all sorts of maintenance and whatnot, and you think, oh gosh, is it worth it? But absolutely. And I can see the benefit of it now. And I even saw the benefit in the middle of all the stress. And you're not going to create success without the work.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that sit out there going, oh, yeah, I should do it. I should do something. And then they don't take action. So it's all about taking intentional action and doing something with your money. There's so many of my friends who have got plenty of equity in their homes, but they've been too scared to do anything with it. And they're the ones that are going to have to work until they're 67.
Yeah.
And then there's superannuation. So we've, been mindful with our financial planner to be very strategic in moving money into super, and there's a whole plan in line with the sell down of a couple of more properties over the next couple of years.
To put in the super, stuff like that.
So I need to give a shout out to Pat Casey from Assure Wealth, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be sitting
So
here,
I know Pat,
retired.
he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's great.
One of the few financial planners that actually understands property, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are out there, believe it or not, but a lot of them still don't really see property as a catalyst. So with the benefit of hindsight, would you do anything different if you had your time again?
Buy more.
Everyone says that.
Everyone says that.
I would have. Yeah, I would have bought probably before we hit the red line with the banks.
How do redlining with the banks was when banks were going, nah. You had to change lenders and go to second tier lenders.
And third tier. Yeah, I probably would have been a bit more mindful about buying more, being in a position where we could have bought more. And look, we could still buy more now, but between Pat and Vic, they've said you don't need to.
It's enough is enough.
Yeah.
You've got to know when to stop. It's probably the key thing, right?
Exactly. So we could keep going, but then I'd have to keep working.
But you think about it, the portfolio you have today, which is worth like $10 million, like fast forward another decade, it's not going to be worth $10 million. It's probably going to be worth twice that.
Hopefully.
Well, that's the idea, right?
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
the compounding aspect
Yeah,
of
exactly.
and when you sit there and just go, what, really? That's crazy, Then you got optionality then. If you need more cash, you can sell some down. Sell one down.
Exactly. It's all about,
Bam, cashed out.
and that's the joy of being in this position. It's having the choices.
Yeah.
And if you look at retirement, and I'll come back to you in terms of how retirement is panning out. If you look at retirement, there's three options, right? So one is that you actually fund your full retirement income, whatever that is, through your investments. So this is after all of your outgoings in the investments, the money that's left over, minus all of the repairs and maintenance, you're using that to live off, right? So it's catering your lifestyle. Then the other is where you've got more than enough and it becomes generational, where most people need to get started is perhaps get into a hybrid situation where they're selling down some assets to actually give some cash injections along the way, but they've got a steady income also coming in from retirement. And most people think that retirement is sitting in a rocking chair on a porch and doing nothing. How's retirement for you?
It's been really busy. It's only been 8 weeks, but I've been really, really busy. So much so that, and he's going to kill me for saying this, I'm currently being performance managed by my husband.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're not delivering on whatever the requirements are of whatever you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, so I said, when I retire, I'll do the washing, the ironing, and the folding, and the cooking, because he does a lot of household tasks, including all of the outside as well.
Yeah.
And he's going, no, it's all right. I'll hold on to the laundry. No, I'll do it. So we've had a couple of complaints from our key stakeholders about my lead times in the laundry.
Wow. Sounds like I've got a huge HR issue here.
Yeah, the most recent one was, Mum, you need to get better on your lead times, because these trousers have been sitting in the washing for a few days now.
So what are you doing all day?
Yeah, well, I've been volunteering with Share the Dignity. It's in the bag.
Brilliant. Good.
Yeah, so I've had 300, 400 bags of essentials for women and teenage girls throughout the house. So that's prevented me from doing a lot of the household tasks.
And that's fulfilling work?
It's very fulfilling.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I love being of service to others. And that was one of the things about retiring. I thought I can give back to the community.
It's a nice choice as well, right? Optionality. Yeah. And this is the version of retirement. Retirement doesn't mean sitting around. It means doing other things. Maybe not directly orientated towards generating income, but, there's other ways that you can drive and derive satisfaction out of where you choose to put your time, energy, and effort. If you've got 2 kids, get them to do the washing. That's what I'd say.
They're
living
spoiled.
rent-free, right? Are they at uni and all that sort of stuff? Or?
My son has just actually completed his uni degree.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did he do?
He did a Bachelor of Commerce with an accounting major.
Okay. What's he going to do?
He's currently working in Woolworths head office.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so he's going really well.
Nice
he's
pathway.
Started to pay board, which he's not happy about either.
How much are you charging him a week?
We're charging him $200
a week.
A week.
Food and board?
Food, board, washing, ironing,
everything.
You name it.
That's okay. Is he saving money? Is he going to invest in property?
That's the plan.
Okay. Do you have is there an agreement around this, or is it a bit loose at the moment?
It's a bit loose.
Okay.
He's a good boy. He's got a good head on him.
Yeah.
And he's like, Mum, I'll work this out. I've got my goals, so I'm trusting that.
Okay.
And he's learned a lot over the years.
All the clues are there. He knows what he needs to do, and he was only that young. Like, to start. Get into it. Go and use that 5% scheme and go and live in it for a little while. And, that's what I'd be doing.
Oh, well, then I won't have to do his washing then.
There you go. You get the double benefit of it. Or he's out of the house. He'd probably still come back on Sunday with a bag of washing. And
that's what I used to do.
Yeah, rite of passage. But that's nice. So they've been involved in the journey. Do they have an appreciation of, you've a $10 million portfolio today, call it 20 in, and I'm being general here, in sort of 10-ish years, fast forward another 10 years, fast forward another 10 years in your lifetime, it's going to be a very large asset.
Yes. So that's why
without really having to do anything else except for some management of it, a couple of days a week, a couple of hours a week probably, just to make sure everything's sort of up to date and the tenants are cool. Yeah.
They're very aware that we're not normal in terms of how many properties we hold.
Yeah.
And they've seen us do the work. And one of their favourite stories is we would go out, or we're looking at a property up in the Central Coast. So they were, I think, 10 and 8, and there was an ice cream shop. Mum, can we please have an ice cream cone? No, they're $7 each. Oh, please. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not paying $7 for an ice cream cone.
Sounds like me.
So off we went to Coles, bought a tub of ice cream.
Good.
I keep spoons in my car, and we sat there, and ate a $2 tub of ice cream.
Big thing of like vanilla ice cream. I was actually only looking at one the other day, putting that to my daughter. Look at that. That looks good.
Yeah.
Plain white vanilla, cheap.
Yum.
Yeah.
So just making those choices, and I've taught them from an early age when we're supermarket shopping, shop the specials, tell me what the unit price is, do the comparisons, that sort of thing. So, and they've done
used to handling money then, right?
Yeah, it's been quite educational, and they've done their hard yards with painting and
Good. Put on the work.
yeah,
Put on the work, I say. But this is, a lot of, I think, there's this misnomer that financial literacy is taught at schools, it's taught at home, it's cultivated at home, it's championed at home. It's a responsibility of parents really to promote and support it. It's one of the reasons why podcasting is great. It's really funny. You get the feedback of that this podcast and like the Smart Property Investment Show, it's a thing for families when they're driving in the car.
It
like
is.
They'll put it on and they'll be on a road trip somewhere over summer, and they'll listen to it, and it just gets kids asking questions. Well, what's that mean? What's that concept? It's really important.
It sure is, and I think that especially with all of the social media influencers with the Have It Now, they so many young people, they want their Louis Vuitton handbags at 18 and they want all of the fancy things, and they're not saving money.
No.
And it's really, really important that if they want to buy their first property, they actually need to save some money.
Got to save your money. So, Victor, if you were going to offer some constructive criticism to Melissa as she reflects on her journey to retirement,
Yep.
what do you think she should have done differently?
Buy more.
Buy more.
Yeah.
Buy more.
Buy more.
And actually recognizing, and in all seriousness, recognizing that.
Could have you really done it? Like if you wanted to?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Because I always do the same. Like I should have bought a lot more. I should be buying a lot more, but I just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't happen.
And started earlier.
Oh yeah, God.
We
Yeah,
started
but
at 40
Yeah.
You started 40, did you? Wow.
Yeah. So it's not a long journey.
You moved the needle.
very quickly.
Yeah.
And then also recognizing that you're actually there in terms of retirement, right? It actually takes someone else to point it out, because if you so ingrained in a portfolio, generally don't really see the success of it unless someone else points it out to you to say, hey, you can actually retire. Yeah. And that's a big aha moment.
Yeah, it's been, and I'm really, really grateful to Victor for supporting Andrew and I. His insights into his property knowledge and spending the time with us going through our portfolio has really made such a difference.
It's been invaluable.
And saying not to buy anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stop.
and like so.
He tells me otherwise. He should go, Phil, buy. You should buy more, buy more.
You pay more, Phil, that's why.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that the reason why? Yeah. I don't get any discounts at the right property group. I pay full freight, don't worry. That's really encouraging. So it can be done.
It can be done. Just have to be intentional and make good choices.
See, I'm telegraphing that there's probably going to be there's a period of time while you bask in the fruits of retirement, but there'll be an itch that'll need to be scratched at some point. I reckon you'll be back in the game at some point. And that's choice and optionality,
Yeah,
Best to do it if you want to do it rather than having to do it. That's retirement.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm up for doing, I'm going to learn how to play golf.
Okay, very nice.
And, maybe if Victor needs a hand, maybe I can negotiate a contract rate.
Okay, there you go. Yeah,
That's why I left the door open.
Yeah, didn't
There's
realize
a lot.
this was gonna
There
be-
is actually a wealth of knowledge, right? Because you've actually gone through the journey, so you can then advise anyone that you're talking with that it is possible, but you need to look out for this, and this. So it's not pie in the sky stuff.
Yeah. So it can be done. It's not easy. If you put the work in, put the energy in, put the effort in, have the right attitude, all this stuff, and they're just words and it sounds really easy, but you actually still got to get it done though.
You do. And there's so many people just talk about it,
Yeah.
but you need to take action. And that's with everything in life, taking action.
Nice one. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for
Good to
having
see
me.
ya.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Too long.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still on my journey towards retirement, Victor.
I know, because you're a much more difficult client than Melissa.
I am
so,
very, very
yes.
difficult. I imagine I would be one of your more difficult clients.
You're
Yeah, we-
one of them. Oh, Phil's calling. Okay, yeah, just say I'm busy.
Yeah. Straight through to
Straight to the
receptionist.
voicemail,
Yeah.
right? Which I don't listen to, by the way. So,
that's 12 months,
12 months.
13 months of designing your decade. Is this the official conclusion of the special series? What have we got set for 2026?
It is. So 2026, we'll talk more strategy and the mechanics of things in actually building up a real portfolio.
Yeah, good.
And for someone that, if you've just tuned into this particular podcast being the holiday season, go back to start from last December. You've got an incremental knowledge in terms of design your decade. And bringing in Melissa today was to highlight that you don't have to have no properties in your portfolio to get started. You can have a portfolio already, and we can get you there to the goal. It is totally dependent on how you address the noise that's out there, and taking a methodical approach towards investing as opposed to a let's throw mud at the wall and see what sticks.
Sounds good. So people are tuning in this, they've just binged 12 episodes of Property Investing Insights, our Design Your Decade special series. What do you do about it? Are you guys available over this period? You know, we're recording literally a day or so after Chrissy. If I want to take action today, can I?
You can just go on our website, contact me form, and we will then get back to you as soon as we're back in the new year. We're back in the first week.
Okay.
So there is a lot of lead time in terms of preparing you for investment. So the idea is that we want to set the stage first before you start getting finance, before you start even thinking of what properties to buy. We need to address the why before we address the how.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense. So don't wait. Start today. If something we've spoken about or you've tuned into any of the other podcasts has triggered, for some reason, some action setting in your psyche, get stuck in. Start today. Dial into the team at the Right Property Group. You'll find them pretty easy. Facebook, Right Property, RIGHT, propertygroup.com.au. Victor, I've enjoyed the year on this special Design Your Decade alongside Reshmi.
I'm pleased that for the whole year I've been able to get you to buy a coffee and I haven't bought any.
Who would have thought?
Really good. Yeah,
who would have thought? And,
I tried. I said, I was on the metro. I sent Victor a message saying, almond flat white, please. And he said, oh, no, we have to wait for Phil to buy the coffee.
Yeah.
He got out of it as well.
He does. That's the reason why he's successful. He's able to get other people to do his dirty bidding. That's what he does. No, thanks, Victor. It's good, man. Thanks so much to the Right Property team as well as we round out 2025. Great crew of professionals out there doing some wonderful things. Remember to check out rightpropertygroup.com.au. We'll see you again next year on Property Investing Insights. Until then, bye-bye.
The information featured in this podcast is general in nature, does not take into consideration your financial situation or individual needs, and should not be relied upon. Before making any investment, insurance, tax, property, or financial planning decision, you should consult a licensed professional who can advise whether your decision is appropriate for you.